Let me give you the preamble for January. Here we go. You know, in metaphysics, we're all about changing our reality. We're all about manifesting something, doing something, making stuff happen. But you know, when you do that, you know who shows up when you arrive at your destination? You do. And you know, sometimes you're still you. You're still not as happy as you were. This isn't as fulfilling as you thought, blah, 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 blah. So, in light of this beautiful spiritual year, this is the guidance that Spirit has brought for us to do. We're going to be changing the inside. During the Tuesday night program in January, starting this coming Tuesday, we're going to be talking about an essence you want to become. Not something you want to achieve or accomplish, but an essence you want to become. Like, pick an essence, and then we're going to focus on that essence for you individually for the entire month. If you want to become love, if you want to become wealth, whatever you want to become. So it's not manifesting, it's being. Do you all hear me? Okay. So in Sunday, what we're doing is we're working on healing some of our precepts. Because you realize it's your thoughts that create your reality. So we need to go back and resculpt some of those thoughts. I am using, and we'll be using this throughout the month of January, a book called Love Without End. And they're just little snippets from the book that are very insightful and very educational. I do recommend this book. I know it's out of print and hard to find. Do not ask Bonnie to order it for you. Love Without End, Glenda Green. Do not ask Bonnie to order it for you. But, you know, you can get maybe some bootleg copies or something. So we're going to be working on actually beginning to shift the internal. Guys, okay? All right, so here we go. First class. We all know that love is all there is, right? Yet you don't feel that way, do you? Even when we're sitting in this room right now, we know that the love of God is here. We know we can feel it in a moment. Could you feel the joy when the choir was singing? That was joyful. Yay. Oh, now Cindy's going to talk about guilt. Okay. It's fleeting, isn't it? Joy is gone. So ideally, we want to move into a space at the highest level where we can live in that space of love, the space of love. So we want to change the essences so we can begin to feel the energy of God. Change the essences within so we can feel the energy of God. And this comes about by choosing differently, by making choices that create different attitudes and different perceptions. When Jesus would heal, he always said, go and sin no more, right? He said that many, many times. I don't have to give you the quote on that one because he said it many, many times. Go and sin no more. So what he was saying to the person is, I have now worked with your body. You are now healed. Do not keep thinking, doing, and being as you were before. Be you better. Go be you better. And he never said, when he talked to the Jewish people, he would tell them based on their faith. When he talked to the other faith people, other cultures, he would talk to them based on their faith. He didn't say convert to my religion. He said, go and be better you. Don't do what you've been doing. Change your thoughts, change your realities. All of the Beatitudes that we speak of so frequently in Christendom are changing your thoughts and realities. Right? Blessed are you if you do this. Blessed are you. Oh, I never thought about that before. Yeah, well, blessed, blessed. I want to be blessed, but change my perception, change my reality. The one quote I have for you is, the one I use a lot, is 33:10 from the Aquarian. He's talking to the people who are upset because they work all the time. He says to them, cease to seek for heaven in the sky. Open up the window of your heart, and heaven will bring a boundless joy. How simple is that shift of perception? Cease to seek for heaven in the sky. Cease to think God is separate from you. Open up the windows of your heart within, and love can bring a boundless joy. That is so simple, isn't it? You can embody that. You can be it. You can go home. Everything's great. Then you feel guilty. So let's break down guilt. Ready? So much fun. Okay. Guilt, metaphysically, now, y'all, I don't know psychological definitions. So we're going to only go meta. That's all I know. Guilt metaphysically is when someone has an expectation of you and you do not fulfill that expectation, you're guilty. And most of us caught that with parents. Parents were masters at the guilt. Masters at laying it. That's how they motivate you. If you don't make me happy, you're going to make me sad, or you're going to get in trouble, or I'm going to make you feel bad about yourself, or I'm going to diminish you. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? How many of you heard that? You are broken. Seriously broken. And then you feel guilty. You internalize that I have not lived up to someone's expectations. That's level 1 on guilt. You all understand that? Okay. What if the child said, or what if you said, I absolutely hear your expectations. I do not choose to comply. I do not choose to comply. Even as a child, your livelihood is at stake here. Your sense of survival is at stake. You might not get fed. You might get booted. I'm sorry, I hear you, but I will not comply. I choose to do something different. We call those children stubborn, uncontrollable, and bad. They're Tauruses, yes. But even with that layer, can you see how that happens even as adults? When a partner has an expectation of you, a boss has an expectation of you, and you feel guilty. I have worked in corporate for a long time and worked here. I know when someone is feeling guilty about something because they act differently toward me. It's like, what is wrong with you? Why are you being that way? Are you mad at me? What have I done? And then the story. Well, I didn't do what you wanted. Okay. And? So you're going to punish me with this bad attitude? You're going to make me feel bad because you feel bad? No, we're not going to do that. Was that too much? Was that too close to home? Did that make anybody uncomfortable? It's so subconscious, this idea that I have to please instead of I have to be. It is so subconscious. And the knee-jerk is guilt. The knee-jerk is guilt. I have not complied. Okay. You know that guilt leads to suffering, do you not? And I'm going to share this with you guys for those of you who came through other backgrounds that may have in your place of consciousness the idea of suffering. Does anybody have that in your consciousness? Anybody out there suffering? Okay. This is in Love Without End. I'm on page 279 because guilt leads to suffering, and you know what suffering leads to? Shame. Guilt leads to suffering, suffering leads to shame, and when you're in shame, nobody can talk to you. There are some people who mistakenly believe that suffering is a punishment from God. We don't believe that, do we? In regard to universal law, it is as a consequence of cause and effect, there is truth to the idea that one reaps what they sow, although it is not through God's vengeance. You do reap what you sow. Tragically, many people suffer because they have more faith in the prospect of pain than in the reality of blessing. Those who have experienced a life of suffering feel that hardship is at least one thing on which to rely, and they can predict their life as such. Their parents suffered, their grandparents suffered before that, and that bestows a kind of love upon the painful tradition. How can I be happy when my parents suffered, my grandparents suffered, everybody's suffering around me? How can I be happy? I need to belong. So I belong to the idea of suffering. Got it? Some people have actually come to love their suffering. It is the strongest bond to be shared with those who are dear to them. For some, surviving misfortune has become the person's basis of accomplishment and self-esteem. As I suffer, I have greater self-esteem. It becomes my identity. So let's kick it back then. If I'm suffering, I'm in pain, which is unexplainable. Guilt leads me to that. The idea that I have pained you, the idea that I've failed, the idea that I have not lived up to your expectation. If I stay in that guilt for too long, then I move into this sustained pain, which is suffering. Metaphysically, we define suffering as separation from God. When we feel we are separate from God, it's not fun. And we define it as that. So, it all comes back to suffering is a way of prolonging a state of consciousness. If you look at it that way, it's a way of prolonging a state of consciousness. How many of us want to stay in that? But we can't get anyone else out of it, can we? We can love them while they're in it. But we are the only ones that can end our own suffering. Suffering as a means of bonding keeps you in that prolonged state. Suffering as a means of identity serves you in that prolonged state. But does any of that take you to love or God? No. And will it take you to what you want? No. You'll still suffer when you have it. You may be able to manifest it, but you'll suffer when you have it. So we have to understand that a choice we made at some point has taken us into this gerbil wheel where we cannot see another choice. And it takes us back to waking up to what put us there in the first place. I'm going to tell you what Jesus says about guilt. You ready? So I want to put this behind me. Do not want to be this anymore. Ready? What you call guilt is a built-in alarm system. It signals the departure from your heart. So it's not about you not doing what somebody else is asking you to do. It's about you not doing what your heart is asking you to do. That is when guilt comes up as an alarm system. It says, whoa, wait. Hey. Okay? A person who follows his heart will never feel guilt, even if he steps a little outside the bounds of what society deems proper. Do we do that? Every day. But on the other hand, anyone who lives only in his mind will bear a secret guilt, even if he tries to logically do the right thing. You living in your mind, I'm only going to do what my mind says. Shut up, heart. I'm only going to do what my mind says. Shut up, guilt. I'm only going to do what my mind says. Do you hear? This guilt of I'm not in my right place, this guilt of, but I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And it becomes a paradox. A conflict, yes, thank you. There will be no inner satisfaction, and he will lose his ability to know what the right thing is. So here we go. Eventually, he will cease trying, leaving hidden guilt embedded as a recurring distress. When you do not follow your heart, okay? Such a person may spend fortunes on therapy, alcohol, or anesthetized or to try to remove this issue. But the eventual result is that a mind-dominated person will destroy his immune system. This is the end product of a mind-dominated world. But you can reverse it simply with total grace. And Glenda said, how? And he said, follow your heart. So, if we understand, because guilt is this thing that we can't define, we can't define it. It's just this feeling. It's a feeling of, I'm out of sync, I'm out of sync. If we really can understand what Jesus is saying, that guilt is a alarm system that goes off within us. Now we can use it as a tool, can't we? And when that alarm system goes off within you and you go, oh, God, my heart's telling me to do this. Oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, heart. If you can stand in your choice and say, look, heart, I hear you, but I'm going to go down that way, come hell or high water. I'll take the karma. You've said that a million times, guys. I know you have. I'll take the karma. It doesn't matter. If you can do that, is there guilt? No. There is an awareness that you chose to step away from your guidance. That's all. And God goes, okay, I got you covered as much as I can, but you're supposed to be over here. It's already over here. Okay, we'll get as much as we can over here for you, but, I'm with you still. Do you hear? If we can stand in our choice, there is no guilt, there's acknowledgement. There is acknowledgement. I've told you all a million times, many years ago I was told, if you spend the night, Tuesday night, David was in elementary school. That's how long ago. Literally, words to me, if you will stay home tonight, if you do not stay home tonight, is what they said. If you do not stay home tonight, you will delay your process of evolution by 1.5 years. Literally. I went, 1.5 years not bad. I went to Tuesday night. Because I got a big ego, I'm bold, I'm big, they can't do Tuesday night without me. Do you hear me? I've never forgotten that. And Spirit went, okay, See you in a year and a half. We'll pick up where we left off. How clear was that? And how clear was my choice? I have no guilt about it. I want to go back and wake her up, maybe. But we survived. But do you see, when we make a choice, the universe supports us. We do not have to feel guilty about a choice, pro or con. We made the choice. Are you guys hearing me? Can you feel your heart opening a little bit? All right. Guilt against self, asking your heart, choosing not to go. The warning, if we take that as a warning, then we can choose, I will follow my heart, or I will follow my ego, or I will follow my will, or I will follow this sense of self that wants whatever it wants. But it's a true choice, a perspective from my human aspect I'm allowing to dominate me now. So I'm choosing that. Now, I did read to you that a mind-dominated life will break down the immune system. Did you guys hear that? Mm-hmm. Do you know why? Metaphysically. I don't know why metaphysically. The immune system is designed to protect you, is it not? It's designed to fight for you, stand up for you, and protect you. Therefore, the immune system loves you. And if you are not loving yourself, does it not make sense that your immune system would be breaking down would be a byproduct of that? Your heart is not open, you're not loving yourself, you're not following your guidance. You're in that mind-dominated world. Does that make you bad? Should you feel guilty about that? No, you should not. You just acknowledge it. Okay. 281. In some ways, it might be said that success is just the result of making a lot of right choices. We could say it this way. In some ways, it might be said that success is just the result of making the heart-based choices. And then it is success, whether it's big, small, matters to anyone else, but it's success to you. Because we are in alignment with the heart and we're taking the steps that we need to take. All of the changes in your life come about because something changes in your pattern of how you love. I thought that was pretty powerful. It changes in the pattern of how you love. That brings the changes. Not necessarily the brain making things happen, but how you love. If we can actually begin to try to love self better, try to do those things that we feel guided to do, and they're totally unique to you. What you need to do is not what I need to do. It's to you. As I try to love myself better, follow my heart guidance, then I can actually change the world in which I live. If we choose our heart, we will eliminate guilt. If we choose consciously otherwise and own it, we will eliminate guilt. So eliminating guilt does not tell us to always choose our heart. Eliminating guilt tells us to recognize and consciously choose. How y'all feel? Can you feel like you can let guilt go? Do you realize that you have guilt about something? And sometimes we have guilt. Not meeting others' expectations is a major one. Any moms out there? Do you feel like you failed your baby just because you didn't know what they wanted? You don't know what they want, but you're not meeting their expectations. They're crying. They're unhappy. You don't know what they want, but you're still failing. See? In partnerships, we feel like we are failing their expectation when they won't even tell us what they want. What do you want? I'm not going to tell you. You have to guess. Okay. But now I feel bad. So it starts in the outer with all of our relationship stuff and then moves to the inner. You can't just work on your inner heart and not work on the other. And you can't work on the other without working on the inner heart. These are things that we have to do all at the same time. Following the truth, speaking our choices, honoring our choices, standing in our choices, and knowing this is the path we're choosing to walk today. Every time you make a choice, never forget, you can always change the choice. You can always change it. You can change your mind. You have that right. You have a right to craft your world. If the choices come from your heart and are based in love, you will find fulfillment and happiness. Do you realize how often guilt and suffering keep you from making a better choice? Okay. I really want to kind of leave it there. Is that enough for you today? I want to leave it there, and I want to do a little meditation, and we'll pick up on our next chapter next week, and I'll give you some homework to do. I think just being love is enough homework today, don't you think? All right. Okay, let's go within. Let's anchor this in. All right. Father, Mother God, we ask that all that we now do be for the highest healing of everyone here. Before we even call in the column of light, I want you to feel your heart chakra, that energy around your chest. And just notice if it is tight, if it is open, if there is a color, just is there comfort, discomfort, just notice. Acknowledge it. At this present moment, this is what I am feeling. And now we ask for a beautiful column of light, Father, Mother God, to come over each person. Feel the love in this column of light. Feel the color it brings, the vibration it brings. Feel that it begins to feed you immediately. And notice the vibration of the center of the heart again. Has it changed? Has it shifted? Just notice it. Feel the love of Jesus Christ with you. Feel his heart taking you into your garden. Let yourself go deep within your heart to the garden of your heart where you are safe. Notice your heart again. Has it shifted, the vibration? Now I want you to look around the garden of your heart. Do I have guilt about not fulfilling a human's expectation of me? And just call it forth. I now call forth all the guilt that I might harbor on any level about not fulfilling a human's expectation of me. And pull it up, feel it coming up, put it in a ball of energy. It becomes a ball of energy. Maybe big, maybe small. As it creates the energy, realize that has been holding you back. That has been holding you in the energy of another person. Take a breath. And let's free that energy. Give it to God. Let the angels lift it out. I release the guilt and I release these people that I have been connected to through my guilt. And I see the angels lifting it up and out of my heart, out of the garden, lifting it up. I'm done. I'm done. Feel the freedom. And now it feels clear. Ask to call forth the guilt you harbor at self for not following your own guidance, for not following what your heart has asked you to do. Ask any guilt that you have within you. I call forth the guilt I have within me about not following my heart's guidance, my heart's song, who I am. Bring it up. It may be very deep. Let it have a moment to come up and let it create a ball of energy. It might be big, it might be small. Stand in front of the energy and simply in your heart say, I forgive this guilt because I made a choice. I forgive my perception of my choice. And I send this guilt to God and feel the angels come and lift this energy up as well. Lift it up into the light. I have chosen again, and I choose to stand in this moment. Feel it lifted. Feel your heart garden, the garden of your heart. Notice the space. How does it feel? Feel the physical heart, energy. I am ready to choose again. And in this moment, in your heart, choose something, whatever you want. You can choose love, you can choose to follow, you can choose God, you can choose anything you want. What do you want your next soul step to be? Whatever you have chosen, stand in it now. This is my choice. There is no guilt. Feel the love within your heart just moving. Become aware of the presence of Jesus Christ and His love for you. And if you're not certain, just say, this or greater. This or greater. Whatever I have asked or greater, God. And feel that union of Jesus Christ with you, your Christ. Feel the love pouring in your heart. And very gently allow your focus now as He brings you back to the body, back to your chair. Let your focus come to your body. And I want you to sense the energy in your heart. I love myself. And I'm grateful. Thank you, God. Father, we thank you for this healing. We lift up our hearts. Feel your love for Creator, your love for Jesus Christ. Let your focus come to you again. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Could you feel your heart shifting? The literal energy in your heart. Science is measuring the energy that emits from the heart. And it is amazing what they are finding. The open heart can radiate strongly. So, your homework, if you choose to accept it, if you feel guilt this week, realize it's a warning signal. Go into your heart and say, okay, what am I missing? What am I missing? That's all. Could be just turn right. Could be you forgot something at the grocery store. Who knows what it would be? But let's exercise that tool, shall we? Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Glenda Green. Say, yay, God. Yay, God.